Hello everybody. Welcome to this video. Today I want to show you how we can create a PDF generator using TypeScript and Node.js. And I created a couple of bullet points here I want to go through just to quickly explain how we're going to set this up and what tools we're going to need to make it convenient for ourselves. So first of all, why PDF generator? Why would you want to create one? Well, there could be many cases. One case would be your maybe have your own application. You need to create maybe an invoice, or you just send out a ticket or some sort of, PDF. Um, and yeah, that might be nifty. And to do that, we're going to set up something called Pulumi. And Pulumi might not be a familiar tool for you. So just to give that a quick intro, so Pulumi is an infrastructure as code tool, a little bit similar to what Terraform does, but it kind of has its own paradigm. And the first thing we need to do is to actually create a free account. If you don't have one, we can just sign in with GitHub or Google or something like this. So I will do Pulumi login in the terminal here. And you can see, in order to actually run Pulumi plugin, I need to CLI installed. And I'm going to put a link in the description to that CLI if you don't have it installed already. So I recommend installing the CLI since we're going to use it a lot throughout. And you can see it just logged me right in because I already have an account here. If it's you, you probably will be prompted to open a browser and then do the login. Okay, once we're logged in, we're good on the Pulumi part. Next one, we need to actually also set up an AWS account. So Pulumi, as I said, is an infrastructure as code tool that is cloud agnostic, meaning it can set up cloud resources in different, let me just Google it. So in different clouds. And some of the clouds is, of course, the most popular ones, AWS, and also Google. And of course, also, yeah, what's the last one? Azure. So these are the main ones. There is actually a whole list here of some other ones. DigitalOcean, Alibaba Cloud, Kubernetes, Cloudflare, some other ones. Yeah, I have a lot of providers, but of course, AWS is being the most popular one, so we are going to use that one. And AWS might also be a new tool for you. So I would just suggest to set up a new account here, a free account. And yeah, just go to aws.com, and then you can sign into the console up here, create a new account if you don't have one already. And once you're signed in, if this is your first time in AWS, you need to go into security credentials, and then you need to generate some new access keys here, right? Once you created those access keys, of course, this is a longer tutorial if you're not familiar, but basically you will need to copy and paste these access keys and secret into a file in your system on this location, okay? So int.aws/credentials. So you put the credentials in here. Once you do that, we should be good to go on the AWS part. Now, that was a lot of talking. Let's see if we can actually get a new Pulumi project up running so we can get this PDF generator running, up and going. So the Pulumi command I'm looking for when starting a project is Pulumi new. And here I can put in a template. And the template I'm going to use, so Pulumi has quite a few templates. The one I'm going to use is the one called TypeScript serverless. And to get the whole list of Pulumi templates, I guess you could just Google that and then get an overview here of the different templates. The one we're using is this one, serverless template. And we're using the AWS one. Okay, cool. So let's try to do that. Okay, so it says rerun in an empty directory. We're going to create a subdirectory here. We're going to call it Pulumi. That's spelled wrong. Let me just rename that. Let's go to the directory, then go in here and then try to get our running. Let's do Pulumi new serverless TypeScript. Cool. That should just take a moment. Yes, my name, PDF generator, description. Let's get a stack name. It could just be dev. That's a good default. And then here you need to select the region. I'm going to select EU West 1 since I'm the EU. In AWS, I actually had, no, I think I had North Virginia as a default, but I will be deploying in this region. Okay. If you're in the US, you just choose the US region. Cool. That should start up our project here with some npm install and set up some files here. All right, our new project is ready to go. So here we have all the files. Of course, if this is your first Pulumi project, there's going to be a few new files here, like the YAML files, which is just configuration really. And then, yeah, actually not much else. These are kind of the main Pulumi file. And of course, it also set up some default TypeScript stuff here, which is nice. We don't need to worry about that. That should work. And also this www folder with some, yeah, looks like it's just setting up some basic HTML here for the template. So we don't need to worry about that. Now, let's open out the index.ts file. You can see in here, it already created a lambda function for us, which returned some date. Now, let's just see if we can deploy this template, and then we can create the PDF generator right after. And to deploy in Pulumi, we need to write the Pulumi up command. Now, this should fail for me, even though I'm logged in, because I haven't really set up the AWS profile that I want to use. But let's see what we get here. So I'm getting an issue here. Just because I'm not using my AWS default account, I'm using another one. I have quite a few accounts. So what I can do, because I'm not using the default one, is actually going here. So right now my profile is set to default. This is the default. And that might work for you, especially if it's your first AWS account. But for me, I'm going to use a specific one. I call it this. Doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want if you want a specific account here. Now I'm going to retry. And you can see we have connection to AWS here through Pulumi. And you can see this template creates these 21 different resources. Most of them are IAM row policies, so don't need to worry about that. We have the lambda function, we saw that one. And then it creates this REST API, which is, let me just hide all this. This is kind of basically this. But that's fine. We're just going to say yes, and then see if we can get the deployment working. All right, now we should actually be live with our little template here. Verify it works, we can follow this link. And we can see we now have this website live, and we are getting a time here from our little dummy lambda function. Okay. If you go to www, we can see this is the HTML, this is an animal. It calls this date endpoint, and then it updates the date. Very, very simple. Now, let's not get too fussed now with all this template code. Let's create a new lambda function. So if you go back to the README here that I created, we now at this step where we create a template. Now we need to get started on the AWS lambda PDF generator, which is kind of the main thing here, right? And for that, we're going to use a library called PDFkit. This is going to help us make it a little bit easier to, basically create our PDF in using Node. While that's installing, I can create a new lambda function. I'm going to call this one PDF function. And I can basically copy this function, this code. And instead of returning this stuff, I want to basically return the PDF, right? But I haven't created it yet. But basically, I need to change this return call a little bit. Anywho, first we need to create some more code in here. So if you're not familiar with PDFkit, you might have to read up on it a little bit. But I'm just going to create a really simple PDF, and then you can customize it to your needs. Since this PDF library is a little bit on the heavy side, we're just going to increase the memory here to 520. We're not going to need that much memory at all, but just in case we get some issue. All right, so inside our callback. So now there's a thing I should mention here. When you do an inline like this in Pulumi, it basically bundles up everything in your packaging. And that can get, of course, not give you the greatest bundles. Probably what you want to do is to compile some TypeScript into JavaScript and then bundle it up using something like esbuild and then pointing at a local file here. We're going to do it the easy way, and then maybe we can make a follow-up video to do the more performant way. Anyway, let's create a function. Let's call it create PDF. It's going to be an asynchronous function. And the reason why I will create this asynchronous function is because PDFkit is using a little bit of an old school way, I want to say, to kind of basically doesn't do async await, it does event-based stuff, and I just prefer everything to be async await. So let's do it like this. So here we can return a new promise, and we can either solve that promise or reject it. Okay. Now we can await it by doing this. Now we need a little bit of dummy code in here to actually get them running. So the first one is we need to create a document. Okay, so here we need the PDF document, and we can grab that from PDFkit. So import everything as PDF document from PDFkit. Okay, now we basically created a PDF document in the memory. Next step, we need to set up these events that I mentioned, which are a little bit old school. So that we're gonna create something that doesn't look nice, which is basically a oof, this is gonna be hard. Any type here. So, and the reason is these chunks actually that comes in are noted as any. So typing is not great here. So we have to do a little bit of a unideal type here. But you could probably tweak that. We will keep as any for now though, because it's not that important what's in here. Okay. Okay, so after setting up this data event here on the document, the document is this PDF document up here, we need to set up one more, which is the end event. Okay, and here we just concat whatever we get in here, and then basically return this buffers array. Okay. This might look a little bit odd, but this is kind of how PDFkit works. It's just some standard stuff you need to set up every time you try to create a PDF with PDFkit. Okay. Cool. So now, what do we want in this PDF, right? That is the next question. So for me, I probably want to set the font size. That's always a good thing. And then I could put some text here. Could be hello world. That's a classic, right? So that's kind of what's going to be in our PDF document now. And I will, of course, go in a little more detail here, then maybe in a follow-up video to see how can we create a cool looking invoice, maybe. How to create a table with PDFkit, okay? Or some more details. But this would actually get us going. So we create a document, okay? Create an empty array, we'll set up these two callbacks. That should trigger once we start, for example, when we do font size 14 here and text, we trigger this data event here, okay? And we do the doc end, we trigger this one, which calls the resolve function and returns our buffer array here, actually. Okay. So now we can actually go down here, call a function, PDF, await, get, what do we call it? Create PDF, I think. Something like this. Yes, and now we just need to return it actually. in our lambda. And if you're not familiar with lambda too much, there's like a basic payload that's expected here. One of them is TypeScript, which is 200. That's fine. We also need a body, but the body is not going to be a date. It's going to be a PDF. Okay. So PDF. What is PDF? It's actually right as listed as unknown, and that's because we didn't put a return type. We didn't actually type this create PDF. So let's return. Let's give it a promise. This is a return a promise of a buffer. Basically, we return a buffer, right? Okay. Now we could be a bit more clever. Now we should get some intelligence here. It says we can do to string, and here we can do base64. Okay. And every time you return a base64 in lambda, you need to also say this is actually base64 encoded. So we can do like this base64 encoded. I think something like this. True. Okay. Now, what else are we missing here? We're just missing a couple of headers, so the browser can kind of figure out what is this we're getting back. And here we're saying the content type is PF. There's going to be an attachment. It's going to have a file name. Right now it's called example.pf, which is fine, right? Okay, great. We have a new function here. Now, this is not enough. We also need to expose it. And we can create a new route here. Let's call it path/pdf. We can do a method. How still get, right? And then the event handler is going to be our PDF. Okay? So that should actually be our PDF generator. If you go back to the README now, we should be at the stage where we're ready to test. So let me zoom out a little bit. I think I zoomed too much in. It caused some big confusion here. But yeah, so now we should be able to run Pulumi up. And Pulumi up is basically saying Pulumi deploy now. And since we add a new lambda function here, and we added down here in our API, it should recognize that add some resources that need to be deployed to AWS. Okay. So let's see how Pulumi reacts now. Okay, so there is a problem here with the naming, and that's because I think I might have used the same name here. Okay, let's call it PDF function. So every time you create a new resource in Pulumi, you need to make sure this string is unique. Let's try again. Now you can see it's noticing there's going to be some policy attachments here created. We're creating a new stage for the API. It makes sense. We are updating the API basically. What else? We have a PDF function here. That's important. That's what we just created. And it's saying that there's a new one that needs to be created. So that's good. Let's just say yes. And then let's see if we can actually test that. That would be very awesome. We're probably going to face an error, but we can debug it out together and solve the issue. All right. Seems like we deployed successfully. And we can have this URL that we can jump to. This is just your old website, right? So we create a new route /PDF to see if it returns anything. Oh, it seems like it downloads something here. And let's check it out. Oh, that's not it. Let's try again. PDF. Download something. Check it out. 1 kilobyte. Oh, it's on my another screen. I'll try and drag it over here. Okay. Yes, we have a little world. Great. This seems to work. So now let's say we want to update our PDF generator. Let's say we want to put some more text here. John Doe. How do we actually add that? So here we can just put them up again. And now I should actually notice we created a lambda function change here. And I should deploy a new lambda. Now, One thing that's cool here, if you go to AWS, we can actually go inside the Lambda console here, and we can see we're in the wrong region. Let's go to EU West one. You can see is there nothing here? Or function? Oh, there's a few functions here, but the one we created is the one 1 minute ago. So we can click here, we can check it out. And normally you can view the source code here, but since, as I said, we are kind of doing this inline function that Pulumi is a bit dumb. It packages up everything to make sure it works. So we do not get a good period here. So, but as I said, an alternative is to actually do the bundling yourself. So you can make that ladder function as slim as possible. Let's go back here. Let's say it notices an update. The update was on the lambda function. And I just want to see that lambda function to actually be updated now. If that is updated, then it seems like something that we're doing is actually working. And we actually have a PDF generator in a way. And it's also exposed on a URL, which is kind of cool. Give it a moment here. Take a long time to deploy, and that's just because the bundle is very, very heavy. Normally, these type of spot changes should just be 5 seconds. Let's go back. Let's click the URL. Let's go to PDF. Okay, we got a new file. I should just click that one. Yeah, that works better. Okay, we have a new text agenda. That seems to work. Okay, guys, that was it on the PDF generator. I hope that made sense, and I hope these tools also made sense. I'll put some links in the description just to, in case you are new with some of these tools and want to get some pointers to what to do. And just put some questions down as well if you're not sure what just happened here. Okay, see you around.